What's happening, everybody? Hope you're well. This is Daren from Wisdom Warriors, Yohan from Yohan's Odyssey. And how you doing, man?
I'm pretty good today, Ham. How are you?
Uh, you know, I guess you could say I'm a little better than I have been, but we
Mm,
haven't gotten any sun, man, for like days. So that's really been
mm.
a tough one for me. But I've been really wanting the sun and the blue skies, and but I'm rolling with it. And yeah, so that's about it. Ups and downs like we're all going through. And
Yeah, yeah. Last few days, I've definitely had a lot of ups and downs for sure. Today, feeling in a lot better spirits. It's just a lot of relief. But yeah, last few days, really, just intense in terms of just feeling a bit torn and just not exactly certain. But yeah, we're gonna have a very interesting topic to discuss today on fate versus free will. I think they're both very important concepts, and yeah, I mean, I'm very excited to hear your thoughts on it and just to share my thoughts as well.
yeah, man. Well, yeah, I'll just finish off by saying, yeah, the last few days, yeah, it's been really heavy, dense, and not only me, but I've been thinking like it's collectively, like I felt like anxiety and depression too coming over me.
Mm,
Over the weekend, Monday, uh, I don't know about you, but I'm wondering because I've been feeling a lot like like I told you about not wanting to record a podcast, or I feel it in the body, like it's like, or you're doing too much and your body's trying to tell you, no, man, you got to rest. Like you can't record that next video, like you got to rest, like I at least that's what's I've been experiencing, like kind of like we're being energetically shut down, you can't keep doing all that, man. You got to take a break,
it's like you're finally being forced to really listen to our bodies. I've definitely felt that. Like in the past, I've always had a tendency to try and just ignore that and just push
Yeah,
on and just be a man, man up, push
yeah,
through the pain, all of that. But like,
yeah.
yeah, just recently, it's like it's become a lot easier to sort of slow down and just really listen. All right, well, is this something that I should actually do right now? Like, can my body, is it good for my body or is it
A
not?
hundred percent. And that's connecting us to fate, right? I mean, because it's like that's the biggest question I think a lot of people have. And um like the fate versus free will, like how much of it is destined, how much of it is fate, how much of it is us being guided. And I've really had time to think about this, like at least the fate part, and then the free will part too, because it's like I was thinking about this the other day again, and I'm like, could you imagine if they really gave us full, like, okay, we have choice, we choose a lot of what we're going to do or what we're going to come down and learn, but then these situations that lead us up to those things, I feel like are, we have many different roads we can take,
Mm,
but they're going to still lead us up to where we're meant to end up. But then at the same time I was like, well, wait a minute, but there's got to be, and I know it from my own channeling I do and my own connecting to spirit and talking to spirit and speaking to my dad and all these different things I do. um I believe it, but then there's still subconsciously, we have subconscious programming that, oh, that's bullshit. No, there's no way. You know what I
mm,
mean? But then it brings you back. Are they gonna, like, let us come down here? I know that I would not come down here. This is what I thought about, and then I want to hear your side. Uh, I know that I would have not come down here without guidance and given or being given amnesia where I forget everything, and then come down here and nothing is guiding me, and I'm just like, I have amnesia, I don't remember anything, and then I'm walking around aimlessly, like don't know what the hell I'm doing, no one's guiding me. Like, could you imagine the mess it would be here if
mm.
if there was no guidance and we just
Yeah,
came
just
out,
complete chaos.
yeah, complete chaos, and we probably destroyed ourselves decades ago. So it makes you go back to, there's got to be guidance, there's got to be nudges, there's got to be you being pushed in a direction when you start really, really falling off. And or messages that come, like we were talking about before we hit the record, and I'm not going to bring it up unless you want to, but you know how you had mentioned something in one of your times that you hit rock bottom and a message came and that really took you out of it. That's all signs from the I feel like from the spirit realm, you know, giving us these messages, but a lot of times we don't see it, you know, and we don't hear it and we don't pay attention to it, or you know, we just gloss over it. So that's my kind of a little bit of a take on it, that I really believe that we have both free will and fate is guiding us. And if you're in tune to it, you know what I mean, you got to be in tune to it too, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. So I've got I think my you really summed it up very well, that we have both. That's also what I believe. Like if you take most people and you ask them about fate versus free will, like they'll either be in one camp or the other. So like on one hand, you'll be the people who are on completely free will, where they'll just believe that we have full control and sovereignty over our lives. And then on the other side, you'll have all the, very, very often it'll be the more, I guess religious people who believe, okay, it's all fate, everything is up to God's will and all of that. But I've always been more in the middle, just based on my own
Mm-hmm.
prior experience. So I think, living in this, 3D Earth, basically, I think like just by going around, living, like it's pretty clear, we have choice, we have free will. But then again, like I'm sure you can relate, but like I've had many moments of my life where I feel like I've essentially come full circle, where I've reached a crossroads. And it's like, I feel like those specific moments are definitely fated, where it's like, no matter what you do, it's like you'll always end up at, that point. And I'm not talking about, physical circumstances. I mean, based on the choices we make, physical circumstances might be different, but like still in terms of our spiritual growth and evolution, I feel like there's certain points that we'll always hit. And when it comes to fate, like I think like one thing that we can all agree upon, that is definitely fated. It's fated that we're all going to eventually die. So that's something that's
Mm-hmm.
definitely fated. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a way I sort of see the connection between fate and free will is like the universe with us, living our lives, through our various incarnations. It's like in each incarnation we are born, we have a starting point over here, and then it's like over here we have an ending point, and in between that is like an interconnected web of various pathways that we can choose. So essentially, it's like ultimately, we're all going to die eventually in this incarnation. I am, you are, and like people have different beliefs of what happens afterwards. But like I 100% definitely believe in incarnation and multiple lives. It's like,
Oh, hell yeah.
so it's like, yeah, it's like some people watching this might not, but like I know both of us do. So essentially it's like there'll be a point of birth and a point of death. So it's like that's essentially where it's like we'll all end up in the same place eventually anyway. But in between that is a complex interconnected web, where it's like there'll be one path to, go from, birth to death, and but then it'll be like an interconnected web. So it's like it'll split off, it'll fork, and like at each point you get to, it's like you have like it'll split into two or more forks, where you'll be able to choose different ways to get there. So and that way free will comes in. So you can choose which pathway you're on, but ultimately it'll all lead to the same destination in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that basically sums up my whole thoughts on it. So I
But
I definitely think we have both.
yeah, and but do you, well, not only that, we have a zillion different timelines to choose from, and you
Mm.
know, and it's all about us getting to a certain frequency to step into that timeline or that version of you that's already exists, you know, in the quantum field. And what kind of lost my train of thought with what I was going to say on the back of what you said. And but I mean, to be honest with you, man, like the free will part and then the fate part. Well, when you look at the fate part, do you believe that um they're essentially like it's a portion of it? You don't have full control, because that's what I want to go at, because you were talking about the control. Some people believe that you have full control, but if we had full control, like people would murder, like it would be like,
Mm.
wars like galore. I mean, not that there isn't already, but I think we would destroy this place.
Oh,
Uh, you know,
definitely.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and so how to be able to, and I think that's more ego than anything. That when people say that they feel like they have full control, they don't trust in a fate, they don't trust in a god or some kind of higher power at play. They think that, and I feel like that's more ego than anything, because ego wants control of everything. So when somebody says that, I think that they're speaking from an egoic state, because I don't believe that the higher self would say that ever. Because the higher self isn't about control, it's about love, it's about unity, it's about all of those beautiful things. And um you're not gonna look for control, like control of, I want control of this earth, I want all the money in the world, I want, that's all. um but then we have to dive into the fact that, well, people are like, well, do I take this action and get this job, or do I, or like, I believe it differently, man. I believe that once you start the momentum, like maybe you send out a resume or you do this, you're creating momentum to then be guided to this person that maybe tells you, hey, you should check out this place. And I feel like that's all fate related. And it's leading you for some reason to that thing, just like we were led to do this, just like you were led to the YouTube. That, I believe, is fate. I believe that's part of the, well, that's also the higher self. So it's kind of intertwined and interconnected, you know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
um
It's like there's a series of, fated moments in our life that will come up, but it's like there might be multiple pathways to get there, but it's like ultimately it's like, I don't know, it's like it's a thing that I had a hard time thinking about, is like, destiny. So it's like destiny is very much connected with fate, the idea that, we
yeah.
all have a higher purpose, a destiny, you could say. But one thing that really, I guess, wrecked my mind was thinking about, it's like, like if you look out there in society, I mean, it's like, there'll be people who live their entire lives like miserable, basically, where they might work for someone else that they hate the whole life, work for a corporation, or really be into, addictive behaviors and all of that, and just hold on to anger, hold on to resentment and all of that. And yeah, one thing that I was thinking is, are these people following their destiny? Are they essentially following their fate, or are they really choosing that? And I can't bring myself to believe that, people's fate would be to end up like that. So I do think with destiny, to a certain extent, we can try to resist it. We can try and pull the other way, and that's maybe what leads to addictive behaviors. But then it's like you said, also, it's like, I don't think we can have complete free will, because then it would be chaos and everything would essentially
Yeah, and you know
completely
what
fall
else,
apart.
what you just said, it's like, that's part of free will, though, because they're resisting the path that they're meant to go on. Now, that could be intrusive thoughts, that could be ego, that could be, oh, I don't want to, I'm scared to do that, I'm scared to leave
Mm,
this job, I'm scared to step into the unknown. Because if they did that, they'd be guided, they'd be protected, like the universe would shower them with more shit than they probably could know what to do
mm,
with. But so many are in that fear vibration, like David
mm,
Hawkins talks about, and then it prevents you from, like, so what's happening, you're delaying where you're meant to get to, it's taking you longer, but yet you're probably still going to get there, but you're just taking a longer path. because a path of resistance, because you're resisting. And that is what is holding up all of humanity from this evolution that we're in. This great awakening is
Mm.
resistance. Resistance from trusting in faith, trusting in the universe, trusting in God, like trusting in the abilities that you may have, like denying those things. Like, I don't, like, no way, man. I don't have, like, I'm not able to channel. Like, I don't believe that. Like, denying that ability that you have, not believing in it, not trusting. And that's the biggest thing I keep hearing with so many people in the records is trust, go with the heart, feeling. All these things are similar things that everyone is going through the same thing. They don't trust. And if we trusted, like, everything would be taken care of. But then we see people on the street, and then you see people begging for money, and you see people doing whatever they're doing. It's their intrusive thoughts. They don't want to, like me and you, like, you think, you tell me honestly that how many people would actually jump in that pond and do a plunge in that ice cold water like you did? Not
Oh,
many,
not
man.
many. It's
Maybe
funny.
1%.
Yeah. Yeah, like I told a few people that I did that. Then a lot of some people don't even believe me. That like they don't believe me. It's like
That's what I'm saying to
it's
you.
like
Like, or
because like
or
we all have our own ideas of what our worldview is, what's comfortable for us, and it's like with destiny and all that, like doing things like that. I just feel like it's helps me tap into really listening and surrendering to like the flow of the universe, basically, and all
well,
of
yeah,
that
you're doing that.
natural law.
You're doing that, and you are doing what, like, most people would not do, like, just like
Mm,
Jesus did. Like, everybody talks about Jesus and this enlightened being, and most people wouldn't do half the things that he did. You
mm.
know what I mean? And I was telling people last year when I was doing the cold showers, and half people wouldn't do it. There's no way. Not even a cold shower, like an ice cold shower. So, and a lot of people are so addicted to all these things, which is holding them back
Mm,
from the things that they were here to
yeah.
do, and following faith and connecting to faith, because that's just disconnecting them from it, you know?
Yeah, just like comfort, instant pleasures, all of that. Like, because especially in with the Matrix, we're conditioned to believe that, all these instant pleasures, all these comforts, all these material things that will bring us joy and happiness. And like, for example, people might like, because the thing is like our destiny, our fate, like it's so much more beautiful and grander than, a lot of us could even like imagine.
Yeah,
And I think that's also what scares a lot of people, where they'll think that, oh, but if I choose to go, if I accept that path, it's going to be so hard. It's going to be so difficult. I'm going to be, miserable. Like, I've talked to a few people about, like just because like what really got me into like a lot of this, what catapulted it was, self-improvement. And like with self-improvement, like cold showers, no-fap, all
yeah,
of that. It's
yeah, yeah,
um, like I've talked to some people and they're like, oh, but why would you do that? Your life must be so miserable. But it's like when I wasn't doing any of this, when I was just in addictive behaviors, no, then I was miserable. But it's
yeah.
like when you have some level of,
Discipline.
discipline,
Yeah,
essentially where and it's like, it's funny. It's like, because when people think of discipline, they think of it as, you have to be strict and control everything. But I find that when I engage in these, disciplines, essentially where it's almost as if eventually like I just let go and surrender to destiny almost. And it's like destiny is something like people will act like it's something that's like it's a tyrannical idea, concept that's imposed on you by a higher being. And if you choose to go that, it'll be this massive burden and you'll be so miserable. But it's like, no, like if you follow destiny, it'll be in fate, it'll be hard at first. There'll be, of course, the parts of us, the ego will want to hold on to what's familiar. But it's like, I think following our highest path, our destiny, and just surrendering to God, our higher power, is like that's the way to really achieve, peace,
and
enlightenment, and
freedom.
just
Yeah,
live our
yeah,
freedom and live our true joy. Like none of these um comforts, instant pleasures, none that they're called instant pleasures for a reason, because it's like you might have experienced this bliss in the moment, but it's like even then it's like it's shallow. And like afterwards it'll just rebound, and like yeah, it won't bring any long-term fulfillment. The only way to do that is really to, yeah, live your purpose. And I think the only way to live your purpose is, yeah, to, accept your fate, accept,
Accept
your
what
destiny. And
is.
it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that it's going to be this strict, rigid path that you have to do, you have to live life this way. Like that's also where free will comes in. Like, it's like according to our mindset, the thoughts we put out there, the way we're vibrating, our intention, what actions we take, the universe will give us, different tools. It will manifest these things into existence that will enable us to, keep moving forward, and yeah, really fulfill our destiny. Basically,
How,
that's just my
how do
thoughts
you
on that.
feel? It's like it's not really freedom though. That's the whole joke, because you're chained to these addictions, and you're chained to, like, when you break free of that and you have found a way to discipline yourself from that, you can then have freedom to use those things and enjoy those pleasures of the physicality, whether it be like sweets or whatever. You don't overindulge, you just, enjoy it in moderation, and you're not like enchained to that addiction of chocolate, or that enchained to that addiction of porn, or whatever the hell the addiction is, because the addiction has you in handcuffs until you break free and you actually um, discipline yourself, which most people don't want to do. They don't want to give up the junk food, eating pizza all the time, and, junk food, chips and whatever, candy, whatever, they're so addicted to these things. And that's what keeps humanity enslaved, I feel like. And that
Yeah.
is essentially what keeps you also disconnected from source, from divine, from God, the universe, whatever you call it, whatever you believe in. That's what keeps you disconnected.
Yeah,
And then
100% addiction. Like one of the key things that I talked about in some of my videos also is like addiction disconnects us
yes,
from our
yeah,
soul desire, what it is we truly want, and from our true potential. Like I talked a bit about, on my purpose a few times of why I wanted to do, NoFap and really succeed in it and cut porn out of my life. And until I really realized what my purpose was, I found I wasn't able to let go. But like, I found that my core purpose for doing it is to reconnect with myself, because ultimately I realized what these addiction was doing. It was disconnecting myself from my true core essence of,
a
who
hundred
I am.
percent, a hundred
Like,
percent, yeah.
and it's like, I remember, like after, I'm sure you can relate, but it's like after you engage in addictive behaviors, like I found like I'll look in the mirror afterwards and I'm like, this can't be it. Like this is not who I am. And that's
No.
because no, it wasn't. That's not who I am. I was doing something that was completely against the core essence of who I was. And once I realized that, and once I realized my purpose of reconnecting with myself, I mean, it was really difficult. It was really painful. I mean, there'll be parts of you go through withdrawals, parts of you will try
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
hold on to what's familiar, but like eventually as you continue on, you really are able to reconnect to the pure core essence of who you are. And it's really beautiful once you do that. And it's like, yeah, it becomes, you just gain this momentum and you can just keep on going. And it's like, even if life might not be perfect always, there'll be more challenge and all of that, but like once you're on that path, it's like you don't want to go back.
No, no, and you don't. I don't. I feel like you don't, though. I feel like you break free of all. It's the same thing. Goes back. Another thing is like dopamine fast. Like most people are not going to be able to give those things up for periods of time. Majority. It's a very small percentage that will, because we're a society of overdoing everything. And the ones that break free of it, it's very hard, man, because if you're in cliques and groups, people are eating junk food, people are excessively on social media, people are excessively doing all of these things that wear your dopamine receptors down, and all of those different things, and you just get more and more needing more and more, and release. And I feel like when it's almost like you trying to get to the top financially, when is enough enough? You know what I mean? And all those things were keeping me disconnected from fate, from probably maybe I would have taken a quicker path. But I also believe that we went through it because we had the willpower to do it and the discipline. And the people that do are the ones that are meant to turn around and help others through these difficult things that are super difficult, that are not easy to cut out, in this society, man. And we're the ones that are breaking those patterns, those generational curses, those ancestral curses, all of it. We're the ones breaking it, because not I see people all around me that can't put down the phone, that that have to have the sweets. I used to, not anymore. It took a long time. It took a lot of falling down and getting back up with all of it, with all these things, because I've had many addictions. The list goes on and on. And it was like falling down, getting back up, but not even realizing that I was falling down and needed to get back up and like stop. My soul knew it. Like, I would buy that junk food, I'd have maybe one out of the box, I'd come home and throw the whole thing in the garbage, not even realizing why I was doing that. And I just bought it. So it was like my soul was trying to tell me, or my fate or whatever. And I would do it, but it's been a hard, long journey. And I'm not going to say that it's easy, because it's not. Nor is it easy for him to plunge in an ice cold pond, in winter. I mean, these are things that people don't want to. They're like, oh yeah, like that's why I feel like society has made humanity so weak, with air conditioning.
Definitely.
Air conditioning, heat, all this stuff. Like, we can just, it's too hot, oh, we turn on the AC. It's too cold, we can change those things, but you can't change the nature and environment outside, inside, so to speak. You can't change that. But you can, like, oh yeah, if I'm hot, I'm sweating, I'll turn on the AC. If I'm super cold, I'll just put the heat on.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it's like, of course, I mean, I'm not gonna judge anyone if they choose to use AC or anything like that. But,
No,
like,
no, hell no.
I've always hated using like AC. Like, even, I mean, the place I'm staying here has AC, but the place I was renting before, like, it doesn't have working AC. Like, it's broken. So over this last summer, it was a very hot summer. I didn't have AC at all. But I didn't really. It was hot, sure, during the day, but I found myself going into that creek a lot then. I mean, then it was really, 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 really nice. It was a nice reprieve. So
Interesting.
it really, really, when you remove some of these comforts, you really, I guess, it's much easier then to, connect with nature, and you can realize that nature provides us with all these ways. Like, for example, like, all our ancestors, they wouldn't have had AC or anything like that. So, like, if it's a hot, they'll just jump into a pond or a creek and they'll cool down that way. So things
Exactly.
like that.
And but it's so easy to do all these things. Oh, I want like some chocolate or sweets. Oh, I grab that. Oh, I need a dopamine hit, social media, whatever, porn, whatever, all these different things to, like, yeah, I'm not putting down anybody or telling anybody what they should do or how they should do
Mm.
it, but I'm just saying that from my experience in my life, I have seen that it made me weak, in so many aspects. Weak around women, weak around with my communication, um, all of this stuff, like I said, you just get in your car and you flip the switch on and turn the AC on or turn the heat
Yeah.
on, it's like, and then you don't want to, like, all these things like you do, like the cold plunge, and I do the ice cold showers and these type of things, like it creates mental strength. I mean, you
It
look at
does,
Wim
really
Hof,
does.
man. Don't tell me no one knows Wim Hof and the stuff he talks about. I don't fully right now practice his way of breath
Mm.
work. I'm gonna go back to it at some point, but I've been doing
Yeah,
another one.
I usually do Wim Hof breathing, like, every morning after I get up. I'll do, 3 rounds, like 15 minutes. And it's
I do
like,
a
because, I
different one.
mean,
I do conscious circular breathing because it's just, for now, that's where I feel like I'm at.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like the Wim Hof because I definitely feel like I'm much better able to handle the cold afterwards, and I do it after the when I get up in the morning because I mean, most mornings I go out to the farm and be on the quad bike herding cows, and I find like I'm really able to deal well with the cold. Like I wasn't doing Wim Hof for a few months really, and when it first started to get cold again in the morning, especially in the mornings this year, like I found like I was when I was starting, in the dairy and all of that putting cows on and all that. I had to wear gloves, like my hands were freezing. But it's like now it's like I'll still dress really, warm, of course, being on the bike and all of that. Like I find like even now when it's like, 0 or below, it's like I'm not wearing gloves anymore. My hands warm up really fast. So it's like it definitely helps, I find, with just mental toughness and just blood circulation, definitely. And you can really see it with
Oh
Wim Hof. I
yeah.
mean, the crazy things he does. I mean, I'm nowhere near that
Yeah,
yet, but
yeah,
like
yeah.
still, it really also shows the ability of the body and the mind to like it's so much stronger, and the way it can adapt. It's
Yeah, because you're like you're cognizant of your breath too, especially with his, because you're doing breath holds. So you're like it's like reminding you that you're breathing and you're like
mm,
in tune with your breath. And the breath is what saves you in that cold. The more in tune you get with it, but most people are not in tune with their breath. Most people don't even realize they're even holding their breath. They're walking around holding their breath and not even breathing. So it's like, and for a long time I was breathing backwards anyway. And Wim Hof talks a lot about that because I did do, like I said, his fundamentals and class, and I purchased a couple other ones that I'm gonna do, but I'm on a different journey right now, and I'm also gonna be getting into. I got his teacher training, which is Sig. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's
yeah.
huge with breath holds. But I'm doing this right now, and I've been doing this for a while because conscious circular breathing works with the sympathetic nervous system, and it's a lot with releasing emotions and things like that, and are moving through you. So I've just kind of been called to do that, and I've been doing that for like a long time now. And at some point, I will go back to that, but I see how all of these things have disconnected us, and the breath brings you back to that fate and that connection. And but that's interesting, and that you said that. But even when you did the plunge, you what did you do? You came to your breath, you were breathing. That's the way you would warm up in there, or like,
Yeah. It's like the body. It's essentially like our mind, our body already knows what to do. It's like
yeah,
automatic. You go in cold water, you automatically and you start breathing more heavily to get the oxygen flowing, get the blood flowing, and all of that.
yeah. It's amazing. I haven't done a plunge yet, man. But I've done
Yeah. I
ice.
haven't done it last few days because I haven't been down there by the creek, but I've still been having cold showers here, and I mean the
Yeah.
water is freezing at the moment. So
Yeah. So yeah, the plunges, I don't know what that's like. I have no, like, an ice bath or whatever. Like I
mm,
haven't done that. I
yeah.
can't. Would I do it? Yeah, I would do it. Um, I feel like
Mm,
you feel well. First of all, even with the Wim Hof, you're becoming, and all the breath work types, you're in control of your nervous system versus your nervous system being in control of you.
mm,
And so you're like essentially like mastering life, I feel like, when you have that control, aspect. And and all of those things are ways to connect, I feel like, back to fate, and keep you on that path. But all these things, like we talked about, junk food and addictions and everything, disconnect you, and then you take longer to get down your path. You know what I mean? Like it
mm.
really takes you longer. But then, that's the free will part, but it's still not full control. I don't believe that. Really.
No, I don't believe fully in one or the other. Definitely, it's
No,
a
no,
mix of
no,
both.
no,
Yeah,
no. It's
yeah,
it's definitely it's definitely it's yeah, it's definitely there's higher powers at play in everything. They're no question about it, man. I really think that we should go deeper with this, and probably
yeah,
do a part
definitely.
two.
That's definitely
Yeah,
part two. Yeah, this is such a deep topic. We keep
it
talking for
is.
about it for hours.
It's a fun topic, man. I
Mm,
enjoyed going down this road, man, because like I'm kind of one foot in and one foot out, man. I love the spiritual realm, and I love the well, I'm trying to fit into the human 3D form. I resonate more with the
Mm.
spiritual realm.
Mm.
I
And
always
I think with
did.
the way things are going, like I think it's going to get to the point soon where it's like it'll be much more difficult to distinguish human realm versus spiritual realm. It's all really coming together, and all the illusions are just coming down.
I think you're right. I believe so too. I believe we're waking up more and more, man. And yeah, man, this has been a beautiful uh uh um episode. I loved it. Yeah, I want to go deeper for sure. And I have more to say, and I know you do. And yeah, we'll do a part two, man. Next week we'll
Mm.
we'll
Yeah.
record another one. And um yeah, man, I had fun, man. I don't know if you have anything else to say in this one, but
No, no, no. I've also got to basically get going, so I think everything's basically said everything for this one. But yeah, definitely continue on in the future. There's way more to say on this.
yeah, we're gonna go deeper and dive deeper into this. So stay tuned for that, man. Check out Yohan's Odyssey. We're gonna premiere this on there. We're gonna premiere it on ours. Just
Yeah, check out, subscribe to Wisdom Warriors.
yeah, subscribe to Yohan's Odyssey, man, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you get the notifications when these are premiering, because this is going to be an ongoing thing. And yeah, subscribe to Yohan's Odyssey, subscribe to Wisdom Warriors.
Yeah,
Check
yeah, and
us out.
we've shifted the times around a little bit so that
Yeah.
yeah, we'll premiere it more or less when most of you will be online, because yeah, most, even on my channel, most viewers tend to be from USA and Europe. So yeah, we sort of shifted the times that will hopefully be more convenient, and so that the most people can watch it once. So yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, man, we have much more to come, much more content, much more things we're going to work together to do. And yeah, man, I look forward to this awesome journey, bro. And
Yeah,
I'm
it's gonna
excited.
be amazing.
Yeah, it's really been fun so far, and I feel like you've grown a lot. I've grown a lot just in the short time we've,
Yeah.
been. I can definitely see since I've been like watching your content in your channel, you've grown a lot, man. I actually saw real quick a one of your 3 month one of the videos where you had the short hair and it was like 3 months
Mm.
ago, whatever. And I'm like, damn, he's definitely come a long way
Yeah.
in like 3 months, man.
Yeah, because it's funny, like I started up this channel. My first video I uploaded on February 1st. That's my birthday, and I got a haircut like the day before that. And like yeah, I was actually recently, just yesterday, I watched my very first video, and like that's 3 months ago. Well, actually no, 4 months ago today. But like I was like, wow, I have actually changed, because it's like when you live day to day, it's hard sometimes to see change. You're like, oh, when is this change coming? When am I
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
shift? But
yeah.
it's like I'm like, damn, I already have shifted. And
No, you've
yeah, and
definitely, man.
I also watched some of your earlier videos, and I can really see the growth in you as well. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, shit, I had ones on there from like a year ago, and like a couple
Mm.
that I did like over
Yeah,
a year ago, and then I just fell
yeah,
off for a while.
yeah,
And
yeah. I wish I could because I had like 2 or 3 channels before this I did stuff for a while that I deleted. I wish I could go back then and even see, but yeah, it's too
yeah, I
bad.
did. Did you ever hear of how is it called now? I keep forgetting the name of that platform. Wow, man, it starts with like a P or something. Man,
Paula?
no, it's like owned by Twitter. They're owned by Twitter, and it was like you would go live and Periscope. Did you ever hear of Periscope?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was on Periscope, dude. I have an account on there, and I have videos from like 5 years ago still on there, and I haven't gone
Wow.
on there. And I was so different. It was like I was doing live videos in the gym,
Mm,
and I was like, bulked up and everything. And like I remember I had to like make sure
mm,
my hat looked right, and I had to make sure I was like my shirt looked, it was like all about the outer
mm.
appearance, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And I
yeah.
was concerned about putting a video out going live and what people would say. And this had to be well over 5 years ago. And there's still videos up on there. I haven't gone
Yeah.
on there, but yeah, I started doing stuff on there, and then Instagram in 2020, and now this. So
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I see it with you though, man. I see the change for sure.
Yeah.
You've grown a
Yeah,
lot, man.
I had like 3 channels before. It's like the first channel I had was like back in 2016. I had a gaming channel, and I think I had like 300 subscribers or something on there. It was I
Wow.
still remember that it was a pretty funny channel, actually, just funny clips of
Oh,
me
and you
doing stuff
deleted
and
it?
whatever. I
You
deleted
delete
it.
it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of been a trend for me many years. I'll do things for a while and then I'll hit these points of rock bottom evolution. I'll sort of have this idea, oh, I need a fresh start. So I delete everything, I cut everyone off and all of that. I've
Mm.
changed a lot now where it's like now it's more about continuous growth and evolution. But yeah, and then I had two channels basically the same as what I did now, and documenting, well, it started off documenting nofap journey, but then I would, relapse and whatever fail, and then I would sort of not want
I
to
did the
reveal it to
same thing as
people.
you,
So I
man.
would so I would just cut everything off, delete it. But it's like now it's like I'm so much more authentic. I don't like, I share days when I struggle, when things aren't perfect. Like I started up my second channel recently, like again, sort of just doing a sort of new nofap documentary series, and it's like, yeah, I had a few slip ups and all of that, but like, I'm not afraid to share that anymore, because it's like, it's not about, being perfect. It's about just being authentic, sharing your journey, and
Exactly.
having
Yes.
having something that people can, relate to, and ultimately just having faith and accepting, that you're on the right path,
A
accepting
hundred
fate.
percent, dude. I did the same thing as you. I deleted Instagram and I had like over 1,000 something subscribe followers, and I deleted everything, man. I had so many videos on there, man. Like I was doing
Mm.
multiple weekly videos. I was doing collabs with people, and in 2020, and I just deleted the whole thing. Same thing with Facebook. I deleted the entire thing. Had that for forever since like Facebook started. Just deleted it all, man. So yeah, I did the same thing. I don't probably plan to do that with this. No, I don't plan to do this. I'm not
Yeah,
going to say
yeah,
that
yeah.
to
I
the
don't. I
subscribers and everything because
Yeah, yeah. In
I'm, I'm,
the in
I'm,
my first video on this channel, I was like, all right, well, I swear I'm not going to delete this one, because I
yeah.
want to I want to be able to I want to be able to come back in many years and just look back and see the growth and
And
evolution.
then it's not about us, man. It's bigger than us, man. And
It's
we're
not
we're
it's
helping.
bigger.
Yeah,
It's like
we're
even for other people, like just by
yeah,
us being on here sharing our journeys, and people could look back at our old videos and sort of, it's like a library of content where it's like our whole process of journey and awakening is documented, and that can really help people who are on a
a
similar
hundred
path,
percent, man.
because it's
Yeah,
like I've looked at so many self-improvement channels, and some of, I mean, there's really great ones out there, but it's like a lot of them, they start off from the point of, oh, I've achieved something, I've figured this out, and they're sharing their knowledge. But it's like what we're doing, we're not, we're coming from a place where like, we're showing the whole process. And I think when people can sort of see that as an example, that can really be powerful in terms of them being on their own path and transforming their own lives.
yeah, and getting out of it, knowing that we have come on the other side of these
Yeah,
things that people are
yeah,
struggling with, and they don't know how to get out of it. Like I didn't know how to get out of anxiety when I was going through it for most of my life anyway. Not that I don't still get anxiety, but I look at it differently and I see it differently, and I let it be seen. It's not something I'm trying to push away, or when you do that and you attach to it, then but that's a whole nother video we'll talk about on
yeah,
another
yeah,
time. But
definitely.
I mean, for sure, it's like when people can see you come to the other side, like my dad did, and healed from fourth stage cancer, where they gave him a week to live, and he beat the whole thing, and was living over 25 years later. You know what I mean? And they said, oh, you only have a week. That's the gift that people want to hear, that they know that there's somebody that did it. And how did you do it? And that's what we're here to do, man. Serve and share our experiences and what we do. And I love it, man. I love this collaboration. I love what we're doing, and I'm so grateful that we connected and we actually went with it. A lot of people wouldn't do it. They'd be scared, but I mean, something just felt right, man, and it felt fated. It really
Faded,
felt
hundred
fated,
percent, 100%.
So yeah, man, I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful that we're in each other's lives, and we have a lot to learn from each other and to share to the world, man. So with that being said, unless you have something else to say,
No,
check us.
no, it's gotta get going, but yeah,
All
it's
right.
been a really good one. Really
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
man. Sounds good. And I'll see you soon. And we'll talk to you guys soon, man. Take care of yourselves and each other, man.
Yeah, I'll see you guys all later. Hope you have a wonderful day.
Yeah, man.